Hey team, it's me, it's Abel Rojas, and just saying hello to you. First, thanks for stopping on by. I'm glad you just took the time to say hello. Got a couple of direct messages from you guys, and I'm still working at this. Somebody asked me I was going to turn this into a podcast, and I said, well, I'm not there yet. I wasn't really too sure what we could even talk about. But it's been on my mind just to have fun. So what we've been up to is just doing video. We just finished working with Rich's Pharmacy. Great team. Worked with Jaime and his dad for many years. And I believe we've worked together in different things, from developing websites and videos to photos for the last 20 years. So it's crazy how things work out. So having said that, I'm still at it. That's what we're doing. Now, photography, I did receive a couple questions, direct messaging. Am I still doing photos? Yeah, we're still doing headshots, but we're just being real careful with the way that all works out. And we're still sneaking in a couple senior portraits. Even though it's a million degrees outside, we're going on location and knocking those out. Now, let me just answer the questions y'all sent. I got a couple of them, but there were two in particular that people were asking me. So the first one was, how do I start a photography business? I mean, that's not an easy answer. I kind of fell into this, and I'll save that for another day, how this all worked out. But I've had a camera in my hand since 92, 93, and working professionally, I went to go work in news in the late 90s, 97, and I was there for many years, and that's where I met a lot of great people, and we started developing relationships, and I learned about storytelling, and everything I learned in college, just kind of put it together. Now, as far as the business part of it, man, I am the walking poster child of things not to do. If there was a system, I tried it. If there was a camera, I'd buy it. Some things panned out, some things didn't. But let me just give you 3 quick tips. First, know your market. Take the time and try to figure out who your target market is. Who are you trying to attract? Are you trying to work with moms having babies? Are you doing commercial work like what I'm doing, working with people out of state? Is it high school senior portraits? Is it family portraits? Kind of narrow down what you're looking to do. Had a great guy come tell me once, Cliff Ranson said, you're going to have to be able to narrow your focus. And he wasn't joking around, but that was one of the biggest things that I needed to hear, because I was taking photos of everything and I was driving myself nuts. So I still take photos of families on occasion. I still do weddings every now and then, but I mostly play in the commercial realm, which is headshots and taking photos of properties and stuff like that. And I enjoy that. So narrow your focus. 2, look at your marketing, look at your messages. For me, if you follow me on social media, I post a lot of funny stuff. Nothing offensive, but I do believe you gotta have to find your voice. People are gonna have to kind of know who they're talking to. You know, you can't be one way. I mean, nobody likes it when you meet a person and they're nothing like they were online. I mean, I usually gravitate towards the people that are more creative, but never in the realm of being the artist. I don't really like people like that. It's just a personal preference. My attitude is to serve. You know, I try to leave my ego at the door. So, you know, just something to consider. Look at everything you're doing. Look at the message you're putting out there, and does it mesh with what is being put out there? And the last thing is, know your equipment. And this is really important for business. You're gonna have to learn the equipment. If you're still taking photos with a little green dot or whatever, hey, if that's working for you, that's fine. But what happens when you're thrown into a bad situation? And I mean where there's an audible call where you're just trying to figure it out. You don't want to be in front of your client fumbling with a little dial. They don't want to see you struggling, and they sure as heck don't want to hear you saying, hold on, I'm going to try something. You know, make sure you've already practiced. My youngest actually made me a better photographer when I was learning to do headshots, because he'd walk in and tell me, look, I'm only going to give you 10 photos and then I'm leaving. And this is like a 2 or 3 year old. He's now going to be 10 next month. So I just remember thinking like, man, the attitude on this kid. But yeah, he made me better. And I'll always give him credit for that, because 1, he's always a joker, and 2, he did put an edge on that sword. He always made me try to, got me to think how to do this. And the last thing somebody sent me was why I switched from Canon to Sony after shooting Canon for almost 20 years. And I had to sit there and think about it. And the easiest answer is, I like the way the Canon body works. I like the way the lenses, the body gives me better light in low light areas, and it's also good for videography. That's the short and simple answer. The Sony bodies are, in my opinion, are menu heavy. In English, if you want something that's gonna be real fast, maybe that might not be the way to go. I use the Sony mirrorless, which are supposed to be lighter than DSLRs, but I'm sorry, they still weigh a ton. And it's mostly the glass, not the body. And I mean, I just like what they're doing. I like the way they're being innovative. Now, Canon and Nikon, I think, are finally catching up. I know my buddy Dustin is a Nikon shooter, and he's sponsored by Nikon, so I think he's shooting the latest mirrorless with Nikon, but I know there's been a few hang-ups. The best thing I can say is look at your style and look at what you're trying to shoot. You can find a lot of Canon stuff, I think at a cheaper price, but I still believe Sony's a better product. Again, it's just a personal preference. Now, the downside, another downside of the Sony is I don't think they have enough glass available. In other words, the lenses as compared to Canon. Canon's been in the game a lot longer, and you can buy the adapters, but it's still not the same. So I still shoot my 70-200, which is this guy right here. It is probably about 14, 15 years old, if I had to guess. And it survived, I don't know how many Canon bodies, and it's still going. But I still think Sony has a little bit of ways to go with the glass, that they don't have enough selection. But that's another topic for another day. But that's about it. Just want to answer those 2 questions. Sorry, like I said, if I'm rambling. This is new. I'm still trying to find my groove in all this. But thanks for stopping by, and I'm going to wish you all well. God bless you. We'll see you the next time.